The biggest government welfare program isn't food stamps, it isn't SNAP, it isn't Medicare, it isn't Medicaid, it isn't even Social Security. It's free land to white people. It was called the Homestead Act. Come, let's do our homework.
And the problem is this. White people who look like you and me, we've allowed white supremacy to flourish in this country for generations and generations and generations, so long that people don't even recognize it, myself included sometimes, right? I had a moment just last weekend, or just earlier this week in New Orleans, where I was speaking with a guy on a trolley who grew up there. And he's like, well, you're from the South, right? I grew up in North Carolina. That is the South. You might want to fight me on that. It's not the deep South. He said, you know why everyone's so polite here? And I was like, I don't. And he was like, well, we had to be. It was like everyone had to be polite to each other, especially black people to white people, because if we didn't address them properly, we would get killed. I make U.S. history content, and I didn't even think about that. I grew up in the South, and I didn't even think about that. That's how normalized every day white supremacy is in our country. And if the white people in this country don't decide that they're going to extricate the cancer that is white supremacy from themselves, from their homes, from their communities, from everything that they are surrounded with, we will be right back in this position 5 years from now, 10 years from now, however long it takes for the cycle to regenerate, because it will happen. It's been white supremacy. It will be white supremacy. It's always been that. And if we don't work towards it to fix it now, then when? Oh, and by the way, if you're a white person watching this, guarantee you, when we get rid of white supremacy and the systemic white supremacy that kills people every day, every single one of us will be healthier. We'll all be wealthier. We'll have better access to food. We could even have walkable cities. We could have walkable cities, but that's white supremacy in action, right? The way we've designed our cities is white supremacy in action. So just think about where you want this country to be in 5 or 10 years.
I am incredibly fucking tired of being poor. I'm tired of living in fucking squalor. I just want basic shit to fucking work. I want to be able to get a shower. I want pipes that'll fucking drain. I want a toilet that I don't have to take the goddamn lid off to manually make stop flowing. I want a car that I don't have to fucking share with 3 other people just to make all of our lives function. I want an oven that doesn't give my cats a goddamn asthma attack. I'm so tired of working my fucking ass off just to have a life that's shitty and low quality and uncomfortable and cold and sweaty and tired, no matter how much fucking work I put in. I am so tired of my life just meaning nothing. The human experience is fucking worth more than this. If you've created a society in which life's most profound problems can be solved with a green slip of cloth, then you've made an objectively terrible society.
I want to talk about
Let's talk about it. Let's
Speaking of our black community and where we genuinely are today, I want to talk about SNAP.
Okay, let's do it.
Because I am upset, too fit to be tired about what's happening with SNAP. I am very upset. First, I wrote, because I want to make sure I say these things, okay? 42 million people on SNAP, that's 1 out of 8 Americans use SNAP. 1 out of 8, okay? Ooh. So how I'm seeing all these videos of white folks talking about, SNAP shouldn't be you. Ooh, I'm mad.
Okay.
Of those 1 in 8, or of those 42 million, 40% are children.
Ooh.
40% are children. So I don't even understand how people could justify children going hungry. I don't see how anybody, all right? There are 1.2 million veterans on SNAP. 22,000 active duty military on SNAP. 8 million seniors active. Okay. 1/3 of all SNAP households have a working person. They just don't make ends meet. Right? So that's why you see a case like Walmart where a high percentage of their employees use SNAP.
Right.
A great part of their money that they make each month is from SNAP. Mm-hmm. That's why Walmart's going to be mad with this administration, right? Guess how much they get a month? Everybody's talking about, you're not supposed to be buying Oreos and living luxury and blah, blah, blah. Nope, $188 now. $188 now? A month. That's $6 a day to feed. $6 a day. And let me end this with, white Americans are the largest racial group to use SNAP.
Yes.
It's about 37% of them on SNAP, which means 18 million white folks are on SNAP. And I have seen the nastiest, most ridiculous ass videos from white people judging SNAP because, again, they've associated it with black people.
Right.
Right? And at the end of the day, they may call black people in certain circumstances ghetto. They may want to call themselves different, but they still need help. They still broke. Right? And to have them just going on and acting like it's only black people. And they act like black people are buying BMWs, honey. You shouldn't have lashes and your nails done and get snapped. I have seen so many things like that. And this is the thing. First of all, they don't recognize how ingenious and creative we are. Because within our communities, we do each other's stuff.
Yes.
We're not in the salons paying it. But again, 188.
188.
188.
You know, Randy B., I have been on SNAP twice in my lifetime. When I was in college, I thought it was a genius idea. The summer that I was supposed to do an internship with AmeriCorps and they didn't pay us, I thought it was a genius idea. I'm going to go up to the food stamp office and get me some food stamps. And it worked.
Yeah. 1.2 million college students are on SNAP.
See, brilliant.
Currently.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still stuck on the 22,000 active military members.
Yes.
How is the government not paying you enough?
And you're defending our country. You are serving our country, and you don't have enough money. So the problem, again, is not with the girl that you think is abusing SNAP. It's with the billionaires who will not pay their employees enough money to live.
Because that's incredible.
To live. So most people are working. A third of households are working, and the ones who aren't, they're either children or elderly for the most part.
And so they are underemployed. They are underwaged.
See, y'all love to come on this app and be racist and be colorist and call black people the EBC community and sit here and say that Hispanic people are taking y'all government assistance and da-da-da-da. It takes 2 seconds to do a Google search and be educated. Not only can you go look up the list for government assistance, you can go look up the demographics for who is on that list. And if y'all look right here, what does that say? Whites. How much do y'all make up on government assistance? Again, it takes 2 seconds to educate yourself. And coming from somebody who has high-paying clients with my business, 90% of my high-paying clients are black. They have their own businesses doing all of that without business loans because they can't get them half of the times. So they have to rely on their own community, and 90% of the time they figure something out.
White people, you know I love y'all to death, but I got to get something straight with y'all right now. It's been brought to my attention several times, that for whatever reason, y'all think that black people are the ones that's been using all the welfare benefits. No, sweetie. Out of all the demographics in the world, white people are the ones who have been using welfare the most. And by the way, it's been that way for years. It's not black people. It's white people. Y'all are the ones that's on welfare. Believe it or not. Like, as of now, I think it's probably like 36% or something like that of white people on welfare to like 26% or 25% of black people. And there's nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But just get your facts straight. I know it's hard to believe, and I know it's hard to receive, but it's y'all that are getting all the benefits. It's y'all that's on welfare. It's not the black folks. It's not the Hispanic folks. It's no other culture other than y'all. And again, that's okay, but accept that. It's okay. It's okay. Along with, you know what I'm saying, everything else that y'all have, y'all also have the most people on welfare. So sleep on that tonight. Oh, and I almost forgot. Love ya.
Too many privileged white people are coming here on this app and they're talking about people that benefit from food stamps, which most of them happen to be white. Most of them happen to live in Republican states, red state. Now, don't blame the Democrats because this is absolutely Trump's doing. He can fund it if he wanted to. He's funding ICE. He's sending $40 billion to Argentina. Why are you not mad with him? The only thing the Democrats want to do is make sure that you have affordable health care and people are getting their notice. So not only you're not going to have your food stamps until the government is back in order, but you're going to have a big freaking health care bill coming January. And before you start coming over here complaining about the Democrats, I need you to go to the videos in which people are crying, teachers, healthcare professionals, in which their insurance has doubled or even tripled. Good luck on trying to get food and trying to stay healthy. I'm not sure how long this is going to last, but this is the frustration that we have with you, a lot of MAGA people, because you guys still haven't done your due diligence in reading Project 2025, in which they are trying to destabilize the government and that they want to do away with all the safety net. Why? Because it caused chaos. But I'm going to tell you who's going to be just fine. It's going to be the black and brown people, because we have always been resilient. How about you go to your legislator and tell them how much your insurance premium is going up? Or how about you tell your legislator you want me to have children, you want me to raise children, but you don't want to give me money to feed these children. Stop telling women what to do with their body if you're not going to help them in the end. Anyway, my recommendation for you is to download the app called 5. Call your legislators, call your senator. Just want you to know that the Republicans will not negotiate with the Democrats. And this is why they're doing this.
Of the 41 million people that are on food stamps,
right?
Y'all ready? 78% of them are white.
Boom.
You had in your mind that it's black people that's on welfare. Only 26% of recipients of food stamps are black people. We working hard every day.
Boom.
We're eating by the sweat of our brow. We're making $1 out of 15 cents every other Saturday, because I don't want you to think that I am just commiserating about the problem without offering solution.
So I'm not really sure how I made it over to the white men crying on video about their finances side of TikTok. But I was over there for a little bit. And at first I was like laughing, because it's like FAFO, right? Because like y'all voted for this and now it's affecting you. But then I started to think, like, these are normally the people that, and so to see them online in this much disarray, where they're on video crying in full tears about their finances and how mad they are, y'all be safe out here.
Full disclosure, clearly I am a white, non-Indigenous person, but the level of hypocrisy, I think is the word for it, amongst my peers. So, give an example. So there's a homeless epidemic Australia-wide. Brisbane's no different. But councils here, and I think other places as well, are evicting homeless people from parks because the local residents are complaining. Like, they don't like homeless people in their area because they see it's their land, right? They're the ratepayers, so they have every right to complain because, well, they're ratepayers and they own the land. And yes, that's true. Legally, they do have a title deed which says they own the land. And yes, they do pay rates. But that land was never sold to them by Indigenous people. It was stolen. And our very own laws say that anyone in receipt of stolen property has to give it back, whether you paid good money for it or not. So the hypocrisy of residents and ratepayers saying that it's their land and they should be able to complain because it's their land. Don't really need to say any more about that. But I think maybe it stems from the entitlement that is inherent amongst white people like me, where because we are entitled, because we think because our system is superior to any Indigenous system of law that existed, that we are the rightful owners, when in fact we're not. And there's a big difference between what's legal and what's ethical And it's not ethical for any of us to claim ownership of any land here, and therefore to in any way have any anything to be done about homeless people on that same land. It's not it's as much a homeless person's land as it is a rate holder's piece of land.
Historically speaking, white people have always been adverse to manual labor. They have always found some way to source out their labor, whether it be tilling the lands, farming their food, mining the mines, the railroads. Now, in the age of manufacturing, it's all of their products, right? And the Chinese have been able to take advantage of this aversion. They've built their whole economy around it, in fact. It's actually funny because it's like a two-step mental process, because in white people's justification that they aren't made for manual labor, they've created a whole economy around servicing where they don't have to do manual labor, and then convince the entire world that people who do manual labor are less valuable. By service providing, I mean all the computer, hello, how are you doing type shit, right? The email drafting and basically the corporate bourgeoisie world, right? And that's really just the slave versus the overseer mindset, right? Someone does all the work and then you have someone manage the workers. That's basically what white supremacy is. Racism has always just been their justification for not wanting to be laborers. And the job market, the corporate world, the college educated, all of that is used to justify their aversion to labor. So here we are 159 years later, which is when slavery ended. We've established an entire economy around managing laborers. We source everything in America because of white people's aversion to labor, and then we slap logos on it, slap all this mental cognitive, everything that white people have created is jumping mental loops to justify the fact that they do not labor at all. There's no difference in these products. They're all made in China, right? The only difference is they create this sense of branding and comfort around imaging and all of these things to get you to have the mental cognitive to buy the branding, because the products are all the same, because they're all made at the same factory. Everything about white supremacy is just jumping through mental loops to make you forget the fact that they do not make anything, that they are not laborers, that they refuse to do work, right? So that we will continue to spend money and work for them. The economy in America thrives off of all of this mental manipulation, because the truth of the matter is we do not make anything. We just manage everything. We manage our image. We manage the propaganda about who we are to the rest of the world, about what it is that white people actually do for jobs in America. It's all mental manipulation. We're a country of narcissists. Yikes.
Trump has instituted a 5-step economic plan to sabotage the economy. This is an in-depth for TikTok analysis, so settle in for a few minutes. So what he's doing: shrinking the labor force, cutting off international trade, destabilizing the financial system, weakening core institutions, and consolidating wealth and power. So step 1, shrinking the labor force. Trump is deliberately creating worker shortages, removing millions of undocumented workers from farms, construction sites, hotels, and restaurants. Undocumented workers make up roughly half, yes, half of agricultural workers. And Trump knows this and what it will do to the food supply. Food is rotting in the fields with no one to harvest the crops. Housing construction has stalled, raising prices nationwide. Hospitality and tourism sectors face record staffing crisis. The result? Food shortages, higher prices, supply chain disruption. Now he's attacking legal immigration. The $100,000 H-1B visa fee makes it nearly impossible for tech companies to hire skilled workers. Tech will move to India, Canada, and Europe, leaving the US behind. Restricting student visas cuts off a future talent pipeline in medicine, science, and engineering. The goal: make the US businesses struggle to operate, forcing closures and driving up consumer prices. Number 2, cut off international trade. Trump's trade policies isolate America from the global markets, hurting exports and consumers at the same time. Tariffs on imports raise everyday prices for goods. Retaliatory tariffs by other nations then block U.S. exports, which have devastating effects on farmers and manufacturers. Pulling out of agreements like the TPP and threatening NAFTA partners pushes allies towards China's RCEP, the EU, MESCOR, and all other non-U.S. trading blocs, leaving the U.S. isolated. Allies like Japan, South Korea, and Australia now trade more with China than with America. The goal: collapse export-driven industries while raising domestic costs, creating economic desperation. Number 3, destabilize the financial system. Trump is undermining the foundations of the U.S. dollar, which underpins the entire global economy. Publicly attacking and threatening to replace Fed officials destroys market confidence. Businesses can't plan or borrow when they fear politically driven interest rates. Trump has openly suggested renegotiating or defaulting on U.S. debt, a move that would send global markets into chaos. And as U.S. reserve currency status weakens, inflation will skyrocket and retirement savings will evaporate. Given tax cuts for billionaires and corporations with no offset will balloon the national debt and raise borrowing costs. Goal: trigger financial panic, erode trust in the dollar, and push global investors to abandon the U.S. Step 4. Weaken the core institutions. Strong economies require stable, predictable institutions, and Trump is actively dismantling them in the U.S. And he's turning courts and regulators into partisan tools, which scares investors and discourages entrepreneurship. Businesses need neutral enforcement of contracts to function. Trump destroys that trust. Slashing budgets and hollowing out expertise in the Department of Commerce and the State Department and regulatory agencies, the U.S. has become incapable of coordinating trade policy or negotiating deals, leaving foreign rivals with the upper hand. The goal? Turn government into an unreliable, unpredictable force, discouraging growth and making citizens dependent on Trump for stability. And the final step: consolidating wealth and power for himself. Once the system collapses, Trump and his allies seize control of what's left. As farms, factories, and businesses fail, Trump-aligned billionaires buy them at dollars on the penny, just like Russian oligarchs after the Soviet collapse. Trump deregulates industries for corporations while leaving consumers unprotected, maximizing profits for his allies. With ordinary Americans broke and scared, they accept authoritarian control in exchange for the illusion of order. The ultra-rich rule as oligarchs with Trump as the figurehead. His goal? Create a Russian-style oligarchy where wealth and power are concentrated among a handful of loyal insiders. Individually, these actions look like bad policies or political incompetence, but together they form a clear pattern of economic sabotage. Shrink the labor force so industries collapse, cut off international trade to isolate the U.S. and destroy exports, destabilize the financial system to trigger a panic, weaken core institutions so no one can resist, consolidate wealth and power into the hands of Trump and his allies. This is the blueprint for authoritarian takeover. And quite quickly, America won't have a democracy. It will have a playground for oligarchs. And what are Americans doing about this? Tell me, because I don't know.
So, like, do any other poor people feel this way, right? Like, I'm planning again for my monthly budget, or, like, usually it ends up being a yearly budget, and I just overwhelm myself. Every single month I do this. And my car insurance went up. And that's, like, it went up by, like, $200, which for me is a lot. And I don't know why I do this to myself, where, like, I feel like setting goals a year, 2, 3 years down the line is just so... Like, I need to do it now. Like, I have to find a way to do it now. If I can't do it now, it's never going to get done. Like, I'm never going to realize this goal. Like, I need to get a driveway. I need to do this. I need blah, blah, blah. But that's like, but it makes me so stressed out when I think of things that way. And also, like, if you came to me and you're like, hey, you only have like 3 more years left to live, like, do with that what you will, I wouldn't be stressing out about these things that I'm stressing out about. Like, I wouldn't be stressing out about the fact that, like, I need to paint my barn, and I need to put up a fence, and I need to, like, you know, it's... I don't know. So I don't know, like, what my priorities should be, and then because of that, I feel like my priorities are split between be happy and pay off your credit card debt, you know? And I don't know what the right choice is, because everyone's like, oh, clearly you need to pay off your credit card debt, but, like, also, like, I would like to leave the country. one time. Like, I would like to leave the continental United States. So that's, just let me know if that's how you guys, if anyone else feels this way, because and then like I'll watch people who do like low like gross annual income budgeting, and this is a completely other tangent, and they started like $4,000 a month, and I was like, if I made $4,000 a month, I wouldn't be having this problem. So
and let me take this time to renew my hatred for Bernie Sanders, who came on Twitter saying that this is about the Democrats leaving the working class. The Democrats never left the working class. Working class white people got upset and went to the Republican Party, where they could be openly racist and angry and blame everybody except for the billionaires whose pockets they are fattening and whose power they are giving theirs to. And if we as a party and as a culture on the left are not going to ever talk about racism and white people's problems with non-white people having access to the same types of benefits that they have, so that if we happen to do better than them, that they don't panic and freak out and think somebody's taking something away from them, that they accept that it was on our own merit and our own terms because we have the same chance as them, we're not going to get anywhere. What you guys are talking about is courting racists back into our party, while the base of your party is black people, the only people who show up for you every single time. And you are telling us that the reason these other people are not showing up is because they're worried about the economy. Yes, they are. But their worry about the economy is rooted in racist beliefs and talking points that are being perpetuated by the other side. And it's a religious dogma type of propaganda that they're putting out here. And we can't combat that with facts. These people religiously believe these things. We can't logically talk them out of it. And continuously placing the blame on economic anxiety and not getting down to the root of that and where it is coming from is so disingenuous and so frustrating. And that's why I will not support Bernie Sanders, because he keeps trying to act like this is a dollars and cents issue. It's not. Dollars and cents are part of it, but racism and sexism and all the phobias are also tied into it. This is about straight white men struggling to grasp onto power, white women backing them up because they associate them with that power, and other marginalized groups feeling like if they could get close to that power by also supporting them, that they can have that same success, which is ironically what the people on that side do not want them to have.
Hi. Today's a conversation about white people comparing this epidemic to the Great Depression. Now, they're talking about we're getting government handouts and how they're tired of it and everything. We all know that Roosevelt implemented the Federal Emergency Relief Act May 12th of 1933. No black person got assistance then. I can promise you that. We weren't even considered people. So how can you complain about something like this? I'm confused. How is this anything like the Great Depression? Y'all make up an excuse for anything because y'all just see minorities on handouts and you just assume this. The white people that don't know. There are generations of white families that have been on public assistance since it started. So never think that it's only minorities. White people get food stamps. They get Medicaid. They get assistance all the time. They were the first to receive it. But it's a problem. Minorities get it. Could someone answer that for me?
The white people in USA, they are suffering. They are crying all over social media, stating that their life has become very expensive and unbearable. They are begging the black people to intervene so that they can remove this regime. They thought that voting for Trump, everything will be good and it will be best for them. According to these people, black people are the one who are supposed to suffer. They are stating that black people, they suffer because of their skin, and right now they are the ones suffering in their own country. They're saying that they cannot even afford food. They can cannot even afford gas. They're saying that they even think that Trump is after them, that Trump want to finish all of them. They're saying that Trump was supposed to make America great again, but right now it's worse because of the VAT, because of the tariffs. It has increased taxation, and a lot of people cannot even afford food. They're saying that they are regretting voting for Trump, and they want everyone to intervene, to come together and remove this regime. To be honest, I don't think the black people, they are going to join them because they want them not to vote for Trump, but they did not listen.
This is actually a very funny video to make because, bro, what are you even talking about? White people, white people. How many times have I called you? What are you even saying? That Trump is favoring black people? Where on earth would that be happening? Where on earth would Trump be favoring black people? Now, I know most of you are wondering how that is happening, and you have watched the videos, thankfully. Now, this is the situation, that things have become very hard and tough in America, and that is not for only black people. It has become very tough for white people as well. You know, it's just hard for everyone. The reason being that white people decided to elect Trump in the hopes that he is their own person, he's their skin color, and he's going to favor them in a way or another. And that is exactly why they chose him. I have talked here countless times and said white people did not have a reason to vote in Trump. They only voted him in because they wanted to punish black people, and they voted him in because he's white. You know, they did not care about the characters, the qualities someone has exhibited in the past. They did not care about the track records that we have of this person, that we can actually check and see that this is what they have done in the past and this is what they are capable of doing. Now, that guy, for one, he is a criminal, and if he was in a just society, he would be in jail right now as we speak. But he's out there and being president, yeah? Now, these white people voted him in for one reason, that they wanted to be favored. They wanted to punish black people, and that is usually their main goal. Anything that hurts a black person is joy to white people. Anything that will discriminate black people is good for white people. And that kind of selfishness and that kind of, racism is what led them to voting in President Trump. And once he got there, they were so happy, they were celebrating, they knew that they have done it this time. Part of the reason also is the fact that they are jealous of the fact that in the previous years we had President Obama as a black president, and that did not sit right with them. And I'm sure that the first time they voted in Barack Obama, which most of them did not, and I'm sure when Obama was voted in, they were expecting that he would fail, and fail terribly as a president, because he is black, and black people not known for doing well at anything, yeah, according to white people. Now, when Obama got into position and he outdid himself, he outdid everyone else that had ever been there. He made America beautiful. He made a lot of things work. He made, even the wars, what happened with that. He was signing deals that were useful to America, and that upset them because they thought that he was going to fail so that they would have something more to be talking to black people about and annoying them. Unfortunately for them, it happened that President Obama turned out to be the best president that America has had in a long time. Now, when they were voting in President Trump, those were some of the petty, stupid reasons that made them to vote him in, because he's white and they do not want a black person in there again, because that was going to make black people feel superior. It was going to make black people feel as if they are useful to America, as though they also matter, and of course, having a black president, in some ways your interests will be taken care of. So they did not want that for black people. What they did was elect someone that is their own color, so that they will uphold racism, and they voted him in, the very right person for racism. President Donald Trump is a racist, that man, and everyone else knows, and that is exactly who they chose, because they wanted that for black people. Yeah, when you sow something, be ready to reap that. Yeah, you do not sow something bad and then you expect to reap something nice. No, it doesn't work that way. And if you want evil done to someone else, be sure that if it's done to you, you're going to be ready to accept it and to be happy about it. Yeah. So these people, they were doing all this to punish black people, and black people knew about it. They tried talking about it. They tried expressing how they feel about President Trump and why he should not be voted in. But white people insisted because they knew that they want to punish black people, and that was achieved. Now, President Trump got into position. They have their own expectations that he's going to do things for them and not for black people, that is going to help them achieve a few things that a black president would not do for them, and that they were going to be the first priority. That was it. Now, President Trump gets in and he does not care about anyone. He doesn't care about a white person. He doesn't care about a black person. You're Asian, you're Latino, you're whatever. He does not care. Shock on them. Yeah. So that shock, they have been unable to process it. They have been unable to wrap it around their heads that this is now the reality of things and this is what you have to live with. They are unsure of what to do because there is more years for that guy to be in there, and he was your choice. You went and voted him in. It feels much worse for someone that actually voted for him and you're actually suffering right now. It's very unsettling, and you are ashamed. You are embarrassed because black people are now looking at you like, you voted him in, you wanted us to be the ones suffering. Now look, we are suffering, all of us. How does it feel? Must be nice. And now since black people are not complaining about it, and if you don't know why black people are complaining, I will educate you. Black people have, the economy in America right now is not so good. The fuel prices are high. The food prices are high. People can barely afford house rent. They can barely afford food. We're talking about food. People can barely afford food. They can not afford groceries. They're crying while going to the grocery stores because they cannot believe that the amount of money they have spent was only sufficient to buy these few things. Yeah. Now, they are complaining. The white people are complaining because that is abnormal to them. They have never lived in a world that looks like that. They have always been able to afford their own food, their own rent. They have never had to worry about one paycheck away from being on the streets. They have never had to worry about that. Now, here is a situation where they really have to worry about it because it might happen. It is very, very, it's just one mistake like this and you are on the streets. Yeah. And that reality is dawning on them, and reality check, it's checking in, and they don't know what to do about it. Now they're complaining that black people, why aren't black people complaining? Listen, black people have been going through these things for over 400, 500 years. That is the reality of black people. You have been talking about never knowing what black experience is. This is one of them. That you're not sure about paying rent, you're not sure about buying food, you're not sure about your kids' safety, you're not sure about your kids being able to be in school, full time because you have not paid full school fees. That is the reality of black people. That is the life that black people have lived all their lives. That is all that they know. And when they're asking you to vote in someone that will make the situation better for them and for you people as well, you decided that you will vote for someone that will make your life better for only you. You did not care about black people. You did not care what will happen to them. You did not care if this situation that is happening right now to you would be the one that black people would be experiencing alone. I'm sure if the situation was good for them, that indeed Trump was favoring you people as white people, you'd not be bothered about what is happening to black people. You'd not care to know. Yeah. And that is sad, but that is the truth. The black people have lived that kind of life for a very long time, and it's not a shock to them. They know how to budget. You don't know how to budget. Black people know how to manage their money, little money, but they learned a long time ago from their grandparents, from their parents, from their own experiences. They have learned to budget, make do with the little that they have. You do not have that skill. Now, these are the things that we call life skills. You do not have them. You need to be equipped with those if you are ever to exist and be okay in America. Now, I hope this is good news for you, because now you have a chance to learn a few things. Yeah. I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye for now.